Hello and welcome to the video on releasing anxiety over the future. So this video is designed to release anxiety over what we project into the future. So we can really tie ourselves in knots, worrying about things, being fearful of things, being anxious of things that may never even happen. So that was a big revelation for me is walking around being so tight and so fearful and so worried about things when really they hadn't even happened. They might never happen. It was a thought. What anxiety is are thoughts. They're fear thoughts, they're anxious thoughts. And when we can learn that we are the thinker of those thoughts and we can learn that we can actually control them, that is a game changer. So this is a first step towards that. So once again, we're going to take a moment to be quiet and we'll take a moment to just tune in with ourselves. So go ahead and close your eyes, feet on the floor, sitting comfortably in the chair, and we'll take a deep breath in and out. And once again, tune in with your body. Notice what's happening for you. And if you've just done videos, number 1 and number 2, notice if there's any change in your body since then. And now we're going to allow a fear to come up. And maybe once you ask that question, maybe a floodgate gets opened and all these fears come rushing in, like, oh, I'm anxious about this and I'm anxious about that and I'm anxious about that too. If that's the case, go ahead and pause the video and just write them all down. Sometimes the very act of naming them, like this list of 10 fears and all in one place, just writing them down and saying, oh, okay, that's what they are. It's kind of like the monster in your closet. You turn on a light and there's no monster and it's like, oh, okay. However, probably in your list, maybe some of them will go away and maybe there's 1 or 2 that really stick around, or maybe there's more. But whatever it is, choose one fear for now. You can always go back and work on the others, but choose one for now because EFT works best when you're most specific. And when you think about that fear that you've named, is there anything that happens in your body? Does your gut get heavy? Does your chest tighten up? Do your shoulders feel tense? What happens in your body when you think about that fear? So just notice it for now. And then you're also going to give yourself a rating from 0 to 10 on how intense this is for you. So go ahead and pause the video for a moment. You're going to name your fear. You're going to write down anything you want to write down about it, and also notice if it shows up in your body anywhere. Sometimes it doesn't. Don't worry if it doesn't. But if it does, that's a good thing to track. It's a good thing to tune into. Okay, so now we are going to start doing some tapping. So again, on the fleshy part of the hand, below the pinky, just repeating after me. By the way, I just chose the fear. I don't actually have this fear, but I've had clients who have this fear, which is the fear that my husband will get COVID. And I know that's a pretty hot topic at the moment. I've had people whose husbands are older with some pre-existing conditions. So if they got it, it could be pretty serious. So I have tapped with people on this. So I'm going to use that as an example. What did I use as I can't even remember what I used. I'll just use like a constriction in my chest when I think about it. Okay, so on the side of the hand, repeating after me. Even though when I think about the possibility of my husband getting COVID, I'm really afraid, and I feel it as a constriction in my chest. And even though all that's true, I choose to love and accept myself anyway. Even though when I have that fear thought that my husband could get COVID and he could die, that fills me with fear and I feel it in my chest. And I know the truth that right here, right now, both he and I are safe. Even though when I think about the possibility of my husband getting COVID, I feel afraid and anxious. And I feel that as a constriction in my chest. And I also choose to focus on the now. Right here, right now, in this moment. He and I are perfectly safe. So at the top of the head, all this fear. He could get COVID. Side of the eyes, he has a pre-existing condition. Under the eyes, if he gets COVID, that could be really bad. On the upper lip, he could get a really bad case and die. On the chin, then I would be alone. On the collarbone, and that's my biggest fear, is being alone. This is a really big fear of mine. Moving to more positive. I acknowledge and accept this fear. On the eyebrows, I acknowledge it as one of my feelings. On the side of the eyes, and I choose to live in the now. Under the eyes, we're being careful. On the upper lip, right here, right now, in this moment, he and I are both perfectly safe. On the chin, now is all we have. On the collarbone, why should I ruin my now with fears of him dying? Under the armpit, I choose to not think about that anymore. Okay, take a deep breath. And notice what you're feeling now. Notice how your fear is compared to what it was a few minutes ago. And if you, I want you to ask yourself, are you willing to let this go? Are you willing to let this fear thought go for good? Like, realize it's not doing you any good. It's not keeping your husband alive, or whatever the fear is. It's not helping the situation. It's not helping you. It's not helping the situation. It's really just holding you prisoner. So are you ready to let this go? And be honest. If you're not, go back and do some more work on this. It's also a good time to tune in to yourself. Does this fear feel really familiar? Does this feeling of fear feel like something you've carried around a long time? And is that something you would like help shifting? Because that is the kind of thing, the kind of work I do, is I help people shift bigger patterns in their life. If that's the case, I would love to talk with you. On the other hand, if you're feeling ready, you're like, yeah, bring it on. Let's shift this fear right here, right now. Then let's go on to the next step. So we're going to pull our energy out of that fear. So go ahead, and you're going to sit comfortably in your chair with your feet on the floor, and we're going to take a few deep breaths. Now imagine that fear. Imagine your energy totally entangled with that fear, and feel the pull of that fear, like, oh my gosh, this could happen, whatever this is. The example, it was a husband getting COVID. It could be anything. This could happen. And feel what happens to your body, and make it really big, and feel that pull. And then I want you to picture that beautiful scene of being on a beach, or being in the mountains, or in a forest, or in your home in a really comfy chair, or even being in your bed, someplace really safe. And I want you to energetically pull your energy out of that fear thought. Just pull it out. It's not doing you any good. It's not keeping anybody safe. It's not keeping you safe. It's not helping you. It's weighing you down is what it is. It's holding you prisoner. So pull that energy out of that fear thought and into your body. and that in that body with that beautiful knowledge that right here, right now, in this moment, I'm safe. That's the truth. Right here, right now, you're fine. You're watching this video. You're okay. You're not dying. You're not burning up. You're safe. So right here, right now, you're safe. All right. So imagine that feeling of safety wrapping around you in a warm, energetic blanket, this feeling of safety and warmth and comfort. And imagine that blanket totally engulfing you. And we're going to tap to really confirm that. So on the side of the hand, even though this fear thought had me tangled in knots, this thought made me crazy. Even though this fear thought had me tangled in knots, I'm ready to let it go. Even though a few minutes ago, I was really at my wit's end, I choose to let this go now. I am letting it go. The top of the head. I am letting this fear go. On the eyebrows, this fear no longer has power over me. On the side of the eyes, I'm claiming my power. Under the eyes, I am retrieving my energy back to where it belongs, in my body, in the here and now. I'm ready to let this go. Right here, right now, I'm safe. I am wrapped in a blanket of safety, and I'm safe. Right here, right now, I'm safe. Okay, take a deep breath in. And what do you notice now? How does your fear feel compared to how it felt a few minutes ago? How does your body feel compared to how it felt a few minutes ago? What is your perspective now on this fear? Is there any action that might have come up that you might be willing to take now that you no longer have this thought? Okay, it has been such a pleasure working with you. I would love to hear any ahas, any experiences, any questions in the Facebook group. If some things have come up that you realize, oh, I could do some further work on this. If I could release this pattern, if I could release this train of thought, my life would be a lot freer. Then I would love to talk with you. I would love to set up a free consultation. So thank you so much for participating in these 3 scripts, and I look forward to our next connection.